We all know about the Patriot Way, and we know that Tom Brady was the leader of that culture. But now that he's gone, how will that culture remain in the Patriot locker room? I'm Sierra Goodwill here with Evan Lazar. In Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft's statements after Brady left, they kind of explained how Brady was not just an embodiment of the Patriot Way. He was one of the original creators of that culture. How much does him leaving and him not being that presence in the locker room affect the culture of this organization?
It's massive. I mean, he was the tone setter, right? He's the bar. So everybody looks around that locker room and they say, okay, how do we compete here? How do we practice? How do we prepare for games? How do we go into meeting rooms? How do we deal with film sessions? And Brady was the bar. He was the guy that was setting the tone from the top of the roster. The QB1, number one guy on the team, first one in, last one out. 100% effort every single day, always competitive out on the practice field, and people tried to match that. That was just the expectation that he set, and it was on him to kind of take Bill Belichick's message and then bring it to the player level, right? And that was, I think, the hardest part for going forward is how they're going to adjust from that. Is can somebody else bring that edge and bring that sort of competitiveness where the bar is still set extremely high? Remember, we hear stories all the time about how Tom Brady gets chewed out in film sessions by Bill Belichick. Even 20 years into his football career after 6 Super Bowl championships, and people are like, how does Bill Belichick still do that to Tom Brady? Well, he does that to Tom Brady so that when he does it to the 43rd guy on the roster, it's not as much of a big deal for that guy, right? Well, if Tom gets chewed out, then I should get, I'm just getting chewed out the same way that the greatest quarterback of all time is. So it's going to be a unique situation of how they're going to kind of usher in the new era of the Patriots dynasty and of Patriots football without Tom Brady being there at the top, setting the standard for how the Patriots go about things on a day-to-day basis. It's not the games, it's not game day, it's the day-to-day grind of the season, having a guy that's that consistently excellent every single day.
Well, there's no doubt that Tom Brady was a pillar of the Patriot Way, but there are a couple guys on this team that are just as important for that kind of culture. So it does seem like the Patriots were kind of preparing for this potentially inevitable day when Brady walks out on the Patriots. But there are other guys on the team who can try to pass the torch along to the new guys that come into this organization and teach them what it means to be a part of the Patriots.
We probably should have seen it as a sign when they signed Devin McCourty, franchise tag Joe Thuney, and then signed Matthew Slater, all 2 extensions before the start of free agency, that Brady might not be coming back. Right? Because first of all, it tied up a ton of cap space, that they really didn't have a ton of wiggle room to give the money to Brady that he wanted. But second of all, those are pillars in that locker room. Those are leaders in that locker room. Slater and Devin, especially. McCourty is the leader of the Patriots defense. Him and Hightower are the 2 kind of voices on that defense and the tone setters for that side of the ball. So bringing McCourty and Slater back, if they didn't bring those guys back and Brady also left, we're talking about a major culture change, a situation where you could really lose control of the situation and the team could spiral. But having those 2 guys in the locker room, I truly believe is at least some sort of normalcy for the guys that have been around Brady, and also just a sense of kind of leadership and accountability that they can go with moving forward. So those were huge signings, just 2 guys that maybe aren't the best players at their positions anymore, or maybe aren't, guys that you normally think about in the sense of Slater isn't, a stud wide receiver or a big time player on offense or defense, but at the same time, he is by far the biggest leader in that locker room outside of Tom Brady, I would say. And so well respected, exactly, that it was important for him to be a part of this new era of Patriots football.
We'll continue to keep you updated with all the Patriots free agency news on our website at CLNSmedia.com and on our brand new YouTube channel that you should subscribe to at Patriots Press Pass.